guys, it's Kelly. I'm back with the process video. This layout is for Cocoa Daisy and it is using their January kit called Buttercup. This kit is full of Pink Paisley's Moonstruck collection, and I decided to change it up and pull out the darker papers and do a masculine layout. Now, I will tell you that the number of masculine layouts that you see from me will most likely decrease. Several months ago, my son has politely requested that I don't do layouts of just him and post them online, so I have to be sensitive to his feelings and not do that. But I told him that anything that was a couple years old was fair game, and this picture is definitely several years old, so he's fine with that, and that makes me happy so that at least I can have some pages in his album. So this collection, this cut apart sheet, is just absolutely to die for, and I knew that when I saw that beautiful moon cut apart that I wanted to use that with this galaxy paper. And I'm not the first person that has cut the circle out to use as the background, and I know I won't be the last, but it was definitely just something that I knew that I wanted to do as soon as I saw the paper. So a lot of the supplies in Cocoa Daisy come in these glassine envelopes, and if you have been throwing them away, you need to stop. They are the perfect layering piece behind a photo. I love the cloudy texture that it gives, and it's a little bit different than vellum. It's different than tissue paper, and you know, for the smaller ones, it's perfect to tuck a tag in. I'll just cut it up and layer it behind the photo and just love the way it looks. So when I saw the moon cut apart, I knew that I wanted to use it for my son because, you know, there was a book called Goodnight Moon. I'm sure that most parents know about this book, and we used to say things, you know, like I love you to the moon and back, I love you to infinity and beyond, and, you know, see who could out love the other. So I just thought that it would be sweet to, you know, put on a page. So I have all of my embellishments in this little tray, and I'm just going through trying to figure out what I want to use on the page. And I knew that I wanted to make a second cluster on the opposite side. So I am going to switch it around. And on the back of the cut apart sheet was this beautiful pale aqua. It reads as a tone on tone, but it's, you know, there is a pattern on it. And I wanted to add that as another layering piece behind the photo and the 3x4 card. So I'm going to go ahead and get the circle stuck down, and what I'm trying to do is make sure that the star in the middle of the circle is on the page. And I didn't want to cut it in half because I felt like if I did, it would just look funny. And on top of that, I wanted a little bit more than half of the circle on the layout. So at this point, it becomes obvious that I need something dark on the other side of the page to balance it out. So I just took a strip of that teal paper and cut maybe like a 1/2 inch, probably not even that much. And I like the way that it balances out the dark color. Now I did take my Heidi Swapp distress tool and distress the edges of it. You can use your scissors if you don't have a distress tool. You do not have to have a tool for that. I just have it, so I used it since I had it. The little die cut that says Beautiful Soul is a Cocoa Daisy exclusive, and that beautiful silver moon came in the kit as well. And I love it. I know that there's some gold that is also in the collection that I will have little bits of gold, and I don't normally mix silver and gold, but for this page I decided that I was just not going to let that worry me, and I was just going to do it because I liked it. So I did cut another piece of that pretty aqua paper so that it can look like It is extending the whole length of my my photo mat, and it's just a great way of stretching your papers and supplies, especially when you don't have large pieces of your pattern paper left. So at this point, I really don't know what my title is going to be, and I'm pulling out the darker letters that came with the kit. They're the thickers that came with the collection, and they have multicolored, and I was thinking that I was just going to use the darker colors because I didn't want to introduce any of the pinks or the neutrals on this page. I wanted to keep it just the blue and the aqua, and I don't like the way that this is looking. So I go and I pull out some smaller alphas that came with the kit. I believe though that they came with the Day in the Life kit. And, you know, as I'm thinking about what I'm going to title it, I decide that it's quite all right if I repeat what is on the 3x4 card. And I am just going to put on the 3x4 card to the moon and back. And I'm going to have the title follow the circle. These alphas from Evalicious are just wonderful. I like the font because it's a very easy, legible font. You know, I feel like you can use it with other, you can mix the style with other fonts easily. And to me, that's like the biggest bonus. If I can, you know, use it with a script, I could, you know, still use it with like a mini market or just even another typed font. It's just a beautiful basic font. And there's a bunch of letters on it, and it allows me to make longer titles like this one right here and still have enough letters to do several more titles. So for me, those are things that I look for when I you know, in purchasing things, is I want to make sure that I'm going to get the most bang for my buck. So at this point, I'm really liking the way that it's coming together, and I want to go ahead and get things stuck down, and I'm going to eventually take that tag and I'm going to cut it and place it behind the photo. Again, just for another layer. I was thinking that I was going to do some journaling, but I don't think that in the end I felt like I really needed to. It's a good picture of my son, and I'm just going to date it, and you know, he can look at this and know that it is true. I do love him to the moon and back, and you know, sometimes layouts just don't need, you know, the journaling. So I am going to use that silver moon. I'm just going to take it and not use it at the title. I'm going to put it up in the cluster in that upper left hand side. I felt like it was throwing off the balance. I liked the idea of putting it with the title just because I feel like sometimes when you can embellish with your title, it helps it to really feel like it's part of the page. And I really wanted to, but it just, the size was not right, or there just wasn't enough room. I felt like it was cramming up into that area, and I don't like things to look, you know, like I've shoved them all in. So since I had put it down, I just went ahead and trimmed the tag. That way I didn't have to fight with lifting it up. And this beautiful velvet ribbon came in the kit, and I was trying to see if I wanted to tie it with the twine that had come in a previous kit, and then I decided nope, I wanted to make this a little bit more masculine, and I just stapled the ribbon, and I have not done that before, and I really like that. I'm going to be doing it again. And it finishes off the tag. I don't usually like an empty reinforcer, but it was just a nice different way of finishing it off without a bow or just, you know, the regular twine that I use through the tag. So I'm going to remember that because I have a ton of ribbon. So it's just a nice way to get some of your ribbon stash used. So I did go ahead and put down that strip on the left hand side, and I lifted up the edges again even when it's in a page protector, you can still see a little bit of the lift. It doesn't get smushed down completely, and I just like that little bit of visual interest that it brings. So I am going to pop up that little die cut with some craft foam. And again, I just do it for the visual interest. And I did put a little bit of the twine that has the little silver bit in it hanging from that cluster as well. I just thought that it, you know, for me, like I said, with the tags, I like to have them embellished, but it just brings another texture, and I am very much a texture person. I am also a knitter, and when I am picking my yarn, I like almost have to pet it. It has to be a nice soft yarn. The weight of it doesn't matter, which is the thickness of it. It just, if it doesn't feel good in my hands, I will not use it to knit. And I will tell you, that means it's more expensive yarn. So my projects tend to be spread out because, you know, yeah, I just have expensive taste. So I am pulling off these stickers, trying to get some of these used. I did work a couple of them on. I figured that the phases of the moon would work well here, just simply as another addition to the page. You know, when you have things like this that are pretty themed, I feel like you should use as much of it as you can without going overboard on the page, because otherwise you might not use it and then it gets stuck in your stash. And for me, I would rather use it on the page and then have it, you know, hang around in my stash knowing that I could have used it on a layout, but I didn't. I don't know if that just made sense. It made sense in my world. So I did pull out this mist by Mr. Huey's. I cannot remember the name of it, but it's really dark navy blue. I don't use my Mr. Huey's very often. I really like the shimmers and the Heidi Swapp color shine that I have, but you know, sometimes you just need that nice solid bit of color, and that navy worked beautifully for this. So that's it for me. I'm just going to staple down the edges of that pattern paper strip, just again for a little bit more texture and visual interest. And again, that's it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.